One. Hey, everybody, welcome to Angel Meadows, a conversation with friends. And my friend this evening is Stan Kestrel. Okay, I'm just going to give you a little smidgen. I've known Stan for a few years, and I have watched I've been his secret stalker. I watch the things that you've been doing, the changes that you've made, and they're little sneaky changes because you don't announce everything all over the world for everybody. So today, I want everybody to learn all about the Stan that I know and love. And if my camera doesn't stop misbehaving, we're going to have to throw it into trash. Everybody say hi to Stan. Stan, say hi to everybody and let them know a little bit about who you are.
A little bit of who I am. Hi, I'm Stan, and I'm not used to being on camera, as you can tell. All my life, I've been associated with nature and the animals and everything like that, and I just thought it was natural. I thought everybody can do what I do, and I found out over time that they couldn't, that they thought I was a little bit out there. So that went on for a number of years. I opened up a shop. I sold Native American products, pottery, jewelry, things like that. And I had that for about 10 years. That was after I retired. And during that time, I got into more meditation and more spiritual things because of the Native American background. And I started listening to shows like yours on Blog Talk Radio. And I had a show on there for a few years, I guess, and it went pretty well. So then I just kept going, and I closed that business. I studied mediumship. I'm a certified medium. Studied with Gloria Weichand. She's at the Spirit Sanctuary in Effort, Pennsylvania. Studied with her for about 4 or 5 years, I guess, and worked with her and her classmates. We go to Lilydale. Lilydale's a fun place to go if anybody hasn't been there. I know quite a few of the people that do workshops up there now. And it's just fun. And still working with the animals, still working with mediumship. And I started my new health career. I'm on a health kick now. So that's about my story for now.
Okay. Okay, so you said you've always been comfortable with nature.
Yes.
But what was your aha moment that, aside from the fact that people think you're a little wackadoo, what was that moment the first time that you connected with nature that it was like that you realized what was happening and it wasn't just
Well, like I said, I started when I was very small, and I would go in the woods, and the animals would just seem to be attracted to where I was. I did try to learn to be patient and be very still in the woods and quiet and just listen. And it's amazing what you could feel and hear when you just listen. Most people go in the woods and they go trouncing around and they don't see anything and they wonder why.
They make so much noise walking through the woods that when animals like, oh my God, and they head the other way.
Right.
Hey, Eric. Jennifer in the chat room says, Stan is a wackadoo?
Stan is a what? A wackadoo? What's a wackadoo? Oh, wackadoo. That's me, I guess, Jen. JJ. Yeah, I'm a wackadoo, all right. I used to go to Hawk Mountain. If anybody's familiar with Hawk Mountain, it's a sanctuary in eastern Pennsylvania where they actually count the migrating hawks. It's a world-renowned center, and I used to help them count the migrating hawks there. I'd climb up the top of the mountain in the dark and stay there all day. And they had a little place at the top of the mountain they call the pit, where the actual counting is done. And people come there from all over the world. There's scientists come there and everything else, and they do a lot of programs with children. I used to hand out apples there. I used to carry apples in my knapsack, but it got a little heavy, So I started handing out stickers of butterflies and birds to all the kids that would meet on the trail. So I did that. And if I saw birds, I would sort of point them out to the people that were doing the physical counting, And it was fun. I used to go up there quite often. that was one thing I did.
One of the things that stands out for me when you sent me your bio was you said wolf kept coming into you more often.
Wolf, yeah. Wolf calls to me. He's one of my guides. He's my sort of my animal guide, along with the Kestrel, of course, which is my totem. Wolf teaches us, he guides us, and he'll call me to a deeper woods. There's a book, People of the Wolf. I don't know if I have it here. It's here somewhere. I got a million books around, but it's called People of the Wolf. And in the passage in the book towards the end, it's about way back during the Ice Age, where they were bringing people into the country, into northern Canada and United States from way up where Alaska is, I guess. The tribes used to come down and wolf, they used to follow the wolf to get them to better grazing grounds or better areas to live. And Wolf used to come to him in the book and call to him when he was supposed to move, when he was supposed to start a new journey. And I sort of follow that path, and Wolf calls to me when I'm supposed to get involved with something new. So I keep going. I never stop. I always study. I always learn things, taken tons of courses, tons of workshops. And Wolf keeps guiding me. He'll call me and say, Stan, do this. Stan, come to the woods. Come to the deeper woods. Get in here a little further. So I have to leave people behind, but then they come and join me, or I find new people.
Well, hold on. I'm posting on Facebook. We all know how bit of a slow Jane I am at times. I just figured I'd do it again. Yeah. Yes, I do seem to attract wolf people. And which is fine, because I also have a wolf that and it's funny because when I first met my wolf, as met as I could, I knew his name, and it was a name that just sort of so. And I know it's rare that some people get to know get a name. Now maybe it's me who named it, maybe it's somebody else who named it and gave me the name. I don't know. But do you find that sometimes when people connect with their spirit guides or spirit totem animals, that they have a name or they don't have a name, or is it just, it depends on the person's?
Most of their guides, the spiritual guides that come to us, you do give them a name. Now you could name them like, say, Aristotle or Mother Mary or somebody like that, just as a guide coming to you to help you. But the name doesn't really mean anything. It's just a name that you recognize them as.
Okay.
And we all have a bunch of guides around us. There's a guide like for teaching. There's a guide for communication. There's a guide for joy. During some of my lessons that I've had in the past, we were taught how to recognize these guides and work with each guide individually. And what happens for me, some of them don't come in too often. Some come in once in a while. Like during meditation, you'll get a certain guide come in, or you'll call in your guides. And with me, I'll feel different, like my communication guide, for instance. I'll feel like a chill on my left side, coming in from this side over here. Feel like a chill, so I know my communication guide is around. Okay. If one of my physical guides, like a doctor guide, comes in, I'll get like a pain in my stomach or a bellyache or something. But as soon as I recognize them and say that they're there, it'll go away. It's not really a physical type pain that'll stay with you, but it's just a recognized signal that you know your guides are around. For instance, my little joy guide, he'll sort of like tug on my pants. He's a little boy, and he runs around with suspenders and shorts on and things like that. He was actually killed up in New York State when he was very small, and I talk to him quite often. He's my joy guide, and he sends me out on fun things, and he says, try this, do this, do this. So it's kind of fun to talk to your guides.
I think it is. I think a lot of people don't realize, hold on, I'm mucking with my camera again. Don't realize that they're like, well, how do I talk? Just have a conversation, just like you and I are having, but you just have a conversation with somebody who's not physically there. You can't put your hands around them, you know.
Right. That's the same with mediumship. You know, you have a conversation. And one thing with mediumship that people will come in and they'll say, I want my grandmother to come in. You know, well, maybe your grandmother doesn't want to talk to you today. Maybe your Uncle Joe wants to talk to you today, you know. Or Uncle Joe had a couple beers there or whatever. He's noisy today. He's making a lot of noise. He's sticking his hand up. So sometimes you don't get what they come in expecting, and they're sort of going to denial. They'll say, you know, I don't even know that guy or whatever. And here's might be a great aunt, a great uncle, or something like that. So mediumship can be a little harder at times. The animals are much more, I don't want to say friendlier, but much more knowledgeable in the fact that the people recognize them better. Because anybody will recognize a hummingbird or a butterfly. You know what I'm saying? They won't deny it as much as they would a human relative that had passed.
Well, I guess it's so, because they see the bird or the butterfly or whomever animal spirit comes with you. It's like it's far out there, but it's not as far as, you know, Great Aunt Verna coming to visit me and not coming. You know?
Right.
So
you know,
and for me, it's like a connection. Scott in the chat room says many folks nowadays don't have knowledge of their ancestors, which is
that's true. That's what happens. Yeah, and your great grandfather. I don't really know what my great grandfather looked like. So how can I describe this guy that came in for you for your great grandfather? And yet he still knows you. He still might know you, Scott. So that's the way it works. So mediumship can be a little harder, I think, for many people. You have to go into any medium reading with an open mind, but don't give information. You know, don't say, yeah, you know, I want to talk to this one, or I want to talk to that one. Just go in with an open mind and see what the medium gives you, and you can judge for yourself if you think they're any good or not. And they have good days and bad days too. Don't forget, you know.
Oh yeah, because as one of my very good friends here in the chat room says, there's no wrong way to connect with spirit. There's just different ways.
Right.
And even the basic thing is that we're human. We're not giving you the message. The human is not giving you the message. The human is the telephone. The human is the walkie-talkie system. You know, there's someone over here and someone in front of me. So when spirit gives me the message here, it pops out of here and just, you know, I'm the megaphone. I'm the bullhorn.
Well, what happens a lot of times is when people pass over, their spirit remains the same and their personalities are there too. And one other thing that happens sometimes to me is they like to appear to me, let's say, in a better form, in better shape. They might have passed away when they were 90, and sometimes they'll appear to me when they're 60. You know what I'm saying? Just because they look better in their eyes, so that's the way I'll see them. And but a lot of times there'll be little things they do, like you'll get somebody that'll be peeling a beer bottle, or you know, and then you know, oh yeah, my Uncle Tom always peeled the labels off his beer bottle. So then the person will recognize, oh yeah, that's my Uncle Tom. Things like that, you know.
Okay. Anybody who's in the chat room, Stan is willing to draw cards for you. So if you want one, oh my God, people talk to the guys. Yes, Eric, people talk to their guys, and sometimes their guys dance around in tutus. Daddy. So if you have a question, make sure you type it in capitals like the boys have done, because my eyes are kind of like, I should put on my glasses, but I don't.
Yeah, it's a little blurry there. How many folks nowadays don't have knowledge of their answers? That's what Scott said. Yeah, that's the last thing I see.
Yeah, that is. And but you have 2 decks of cards.
Right now, yeah, I have a bunch of them, but I brought 2 out. Right.
But the 2 with you, they're both God, they're both by the same creator.
Yeah, Stephen Farmer. Stephen Farmer is one of my favorites for the animals. He used to be married to Doreen Virtue.
Oh, I never do
They
that.
split up. Yeah, they split up a few years back, and I guess Doreen went found somebody else, but that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And he's very good. He's very knowledgeable, and I like to. He talks in some of his books, and I learn from him. What happens if you see an animal doing something around you in a peculiar way, that something's not unusual, maybe out of season or
Mm-hmm.
just hanging around when it shouldn't hang around, that animal usually has a message for you. So then you just got to ask, you got to talk to it and say, what is the message, you know? And the first thing you think of, that's what the message normally is.
Yeah, very true. And that's why when I go into shows, I can't sit there and, they always say, well, have your question ready. I can't, because as soon as I think of a question, I got the answer, And so, okay, just for personal information, Eric Glenn has
Yes,
a guide. His name is Teddy, and Teddy's always hanging around, but he's always out of season. Very special.
that's funny because one of my bear guides, his name is Teddy too.
Oh God, no.
There you go.
Bear and Teddy together. Oh Lordy, help us. But yeah, some people. Okay, so at some point we'll get to the. I'm taking notes, people. I'm taking notes. Hey, look here, I'm taking notes.
Now you notice how original that was, Teddy Bear, right?
I know.
Okay.
Okay. Well, yeah, but except Eric's Teddy does wear a tutu at times. He's
Really?
special. Yeah. He's a sweetie. Yeah.
Whatever. Okay.
Eric is a Eric and Teddy have been together for 10 years. So yeah. Eccentric is the word. I don't know. Teddy is special. He's so special. He likes windows. That's figures. I get myself into that one there.
What happens with your animal guys? A lot of times people ask me what their totem animal is, and I don't really tell them what their totem animal is or really can feel what their animal is. They have to basically go on a journey. But most of the time, what happens is when you were a child, you were attracted to a certain animal, like a giraffe or an elephant or, a teddy bear. And as you grew older, your parents most of the time will say, oh, that toy is too old for you. Why do you hang around with them? Why are you talking to that giraffe all the time, And you grow up. And what happens is your totem animal, who was actually like your angel, like your guide, and he gets sort of put on the back burner. He gets sent to a place, and he's waiting there for you. So that's why I tell people they should go on a journey to find their totem animals. And there's a lot of meditations you could do to do that. And they're pretty interesting. You might go somewhere, say, to a jungle and see a whole bunch of jungle animals, and then one will attract you the most. And you just say to it, are you my totem animal? And sort of take it home with you. And that's how you regain your animal.
Okay. So the question in the chat room, which is perfect for this, what is the difference between a totem animal and just a spirit animal?
Totem, to me anyway, totem animal is a little bit more personal, like your own. Your spirit animals could be a group of animals. They're more like guides. Your totem animal is more like your angel, let's say.
Okay.
The spirit animals are all around us. I have a spirit bear. I have a medical bear that I send. So there's different kind of animals that'll help you along. But any animal can give you a message. That's the big thing that I try and tell people. Any animal, any bug, any bird, whatever, can give you a message. It doesn't have to be your totem or your spirit animal.
Okay. So Eric Glenn in the chat room says, if you don't find your totem yourself, then it's not being drawn to you. So it's more like a spirit friend. Your totem animal is someone you collect to you.
Right. You have to be attracted to it, and you have to go searching for it sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't go searching in a jungle if your totem animal is a whale. You have to go,
We're having
you
fun.
have to go
Yeah.
to a spot and let spirit guide you to where you should be on your journey during your meditation or during your totem animal hunt.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to go to different places. So, and you can go anywhere. It's kind of hard. I can't tell you where to go. And
You could,
nobody. I
but
can,
it
but
wouldn't work.
nobody should be able to tell you where to go. What I mean, I'm not going to
Yeah.
tell Scott or Eric or anyone to say, okay, go to the mountain to find your spirit animal or your totem
Mm-hmm.
animal, and you've got to go to where you feel your animal might be. And if it's not in that spot, go look in another spot.
Yeah. It's funny. I did a meditation one time. It was a guided meditation off YouTube. And I'm not really great at guided meditations because sometimes I'm slower than the guiding and sometimes I'm faster than the guiding. But it took me up into this mountain and I walked into a cabin. And on when they said that they went off and I went off. So I wasn't listening to the guided meditation anymore, but I was looking around and I saw on one side of the cabin when you walked in, I walked forward and I saw a gorgeous roaring fireplace with a big old big wingback chairs, a little table in between the two of them, with a pot of tea and two cups and the whole spiel like a little tea set. Okay, and I thought, ooh, wow, that's really nice. And then, hey Cheryl, and then when I turned around to look at what would have been the wall that I came in through, it was nothing but woods. It was just the forest, and it wasn't scary. It wasn't freaky, but I saw eyes everywhere, low, high, different shapes, different eyes. So I knew that for me, that if nothing else, I'm completely surrounded with animals, which is kind of true because I feel, different animals with me.
Right.
Now, like you said, the animals can be with you for different reasons. You have, a bear named Teddy, and different animals. But if somebody says, okay, one of the animals that I know I have with me, is a jaguar, but I've also seen a fox, but not a regular everyday fox, like this was a very special type of thing. Can somebody who says, okay, I've seen a fox in my dream or seen a fox in a meditation, can they go online and find out information about it? I mean, because they're still kind of don't look inside my mind.
There's different places you can go. Let me find that one website that I go to every once in a while. If you don't mind, I didn't come prepared to do this.
Okay.
Well, there's like a different websites. I don't know the name of that one right now, but I could post it to you later.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And there's one I go to every once in a while just to get a different view of what they're saying about a certain animal, or there might be an odd animal that I never run into. You know what I'm saying? So, but this one website has so many in there. There's all kinds of different spirit animals in there. There's a section for birds, a section for critters, a section for mythical animals. And it's a pretty good place. I'll find it for you and post it for you so people can go there.
And one of the places I'm gonna put it out there is that if anybody really wants to look up different spirit animals, a good friend of mine has an amazing website, Cinnamon Moon. Go check her out. She has like, I don't know how many animals that and really. So check out Cinnamon Moon on Facebook, and you can go to her. I don't remember. Jennifer, if you could get me Cinnamon's link to her website, that would be awesome too. But you're saying that sometimes we see things that's sort of out of the norm. Okay?
Right.
Like most people when they see a bird in flame, they think phoenix.
Right.
But at the same time as I had my fox, there was also a falcon, but there was a flaming bird. But I didn't it wasn't a phoenix. It was a Firebird. Now I don't know if there's a difference, but in my head I'm going, okay, are you a phoenix? And then all I got was, no, I'm a Firebird. Now what's the difference?
Well, I think there is a difference in those two. Phoenix, of course, is one that rises up out of the ashes.
Mm-hmm.
And a Firebird might be just something completely different, like a different bird. I mean, they'll probably give you different messages.
Okay.
Phoenix is about rebirth, and that one's pretty common.
Yeah.
You know,
And
a
that's
lot
why
of people get the
when
Phoenix.
I had this, it was during a meditation, and like I say, because people in the chat room will get all really ranky on me. But when I had this meditation visit, it was, like I said, for me, as just a novice and untrained sort of thing into all of spirituality, I was like, oh, it's a Firebird, it's a bird on flames. It's got to be a phoenix. And then I heard, like it was very independent. It was like, no, I'm a Firebird. So I'll need to. You know what? It's funny that you made me do this one again. I'll have to look it up and see.
Yeah, well,
everything comes back for a reason, right?
There's so many of them, and that a Firebird. I don't know if there's a regular bird,
Mm-hmm.
a regular living bird that's called a Firebird. There might be, but to me, that's almost like a spiritual or a mystical bird. Just like the phoenix. I don't think there is a regular phoenix bird that's alive, but you could envision a phoenix more like a mystical bird. But any kind of animal, any kind of thing can give you a message for that time. If you see them doing something unusual or out of the ordinary, if you keep getting reoccurring dreams about a certain one, that's probably giving you a message for it. There's a whole bunch of things you can work through. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're going to go on to your new diets. Your new nutrition. Yes. Oh yeah. I didn't tell you we're doing it, but you're doing it. Because I never sit in one place at one time, so we're gonna jump all over the place, and everyone's gonna enjoy it.
Well, first of all, it's not a diet.
Okay.
It's basically a lifestyle change, and I've changed my life. I don't weigh myself every day, but I've lost 50 some pounds now, I guess, since last September.
Mm-hmm.
And I never consider myself really heavy. I remember the doctors used to say I'm big bone, but as you get older, I was always very athletic, and I would climb the mountains. I'd be skiing all the time. I was, played sports and all that stuff, but I was always going and climbing. And then when I had my shop, I got sort of behind on all that stuff. I was in there so many days a week, and you'd come home one day off to do everything. You couldn't do it. So my physical activity was cut down, and you're eating all kind of good things. Like if you work at a certain coffee shop in Canada, you eat all their goodies, and if you're working in a store that sells Easter candy, you only probably gobble Easter candy down all the time. Well, it's the same deal. If it's around you, you're going to eat it because it's there. So that's what happens. I kept gaining a couple pounds here, a couple pounds here, and I had sort of a revelation. What happened about 2 years ago is we were going to have a class reunion for my high school graduating class, and I had already, retired from my second business, basically. And I was just doing spiritual things and things like that. And I was trying to eat right. I wasn't eating donuts and things like that. I was just trying to eat more salads and all that. But we had not a graduation, a reunion. And for some reason, my mail got lost, which it usually does for some reason. I don't know why my mail always gets lost.
The mailman doesn't like you.
But it went to someone else, I guess, and they probably threw it away. So I didn't know when the reunion was. And they thought I wasn't interested, so they didn't, call or anything. And because I'm not really in contact with the people I graduated with that much.
Okay.
But I did learn about the reunion after it was over. And one thing I learned was how many people were missing. Okay. how many people were no longer around. And it was staggering to see, a lot of guys I played football with. This one I knew pretty well. That one I knew pretty well. They're not here anymore. So I was kind of upset with that. You know how you get a realization that you're getting older, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you better start doing something or you're not going to be around. So I did get the list of people from the committee, and I did go up to Lilydale one time, and at the chapel I said prayers for them all, and I put a couple ribbons in the tree for them out in front of the chapel in Lilydale. And I told them that I did that and everything. And then I thought to myself, I looked at pictures of myself up in Lilydale from that trip. And that was last, no, it was the year before last. But anyway, last August, I looked at pictures of myself up there again. And I said, I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything to help myself. So a friend of mine, her name is Holly. She says, Stan, try this new system. It's not a diet, it's a system. I said, I've never been on a diet in my life. I was always able to work it off or,
Yeah.
all kind of things. But anyway, she talked me into it. I was very hesitant. I said, well, come on, it's just something, So anyway, I started. But once I start something, I'm usually pretty dedicated to it. Okay? I'm very dedicated to what I start. If I start something, if I go to a class for something, I want to learn it the best I can. So I follow the recommendations, I follow the procedures, and we basically replace 2 meals with 2 shakes a day, and you take supplements, and then you cleanse. You do a cellular cleanse. It's not a bathroom type cleanse. It's a cellular cleanse of your body because your body retains all these toxins. Okay, even if you diet and you just try to eat right and feel you're doing better, the reason you're going to gain the weight back is because the toxins are left in your body, and as soon as you start eating things again, the toxins are going to attract the bad stuff, and you're going to start getting heavier again. You know what I'm saying? That's why people yo-yo all the time. So with this system, from what I was told, they said you stick with it. You can go on sort of a maintenance plan later if you want to. And I went in and I thought, well, geez, if I can lose 10 pounds, it'd be great, And so far, it's over 50 pounds I've lost with it. And I stuck with it. And even though I could go on maintenance now, I don't want to. I don't want to. I have my 2 shakes a day yet. I do add things to them. I'll add strawberries sometimes, or bananas, or blueberries, and things like that to a shake sometime. And I eat 1 regular meal a day, 1 good meal, a healthy meal, and it just keeps working. I have so much energy. I'm sleeping better, and less stress. Like things don't bother me, like before as much, and just so much healthier. They call me like the Energizer Bunny. My friends are saying, oh, what happened to you? Because we get lazy. You know what I'm saying? And
agreed.
so that's what happens, and it works for me. It works for me. The plan works for me, and it's worked for some of my friends that I signed up. And I haven't signed up a whole bunch of people because I just started doing that in January. Because people were asking me, how do you, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I'd be sitting in a restaurant. I go to one bar actually, and it's an Italian restaurant. And I sit at the bar and I'd be ordering all kind of goodies, pasta and all this other stuff. And they say, you're on a diet? I said, no, I'm not on a diet. I just watch what I eat. But my stomach has shrunk, so I don't eat as much, So it works for me, and right now I'm working on trying to actually help my friends or whoever's interested have it work for them too. And the big thing about it is, and I got to add this, and then I'll be finished with it, is once you get friends and things to sign up, if you have friends, relatives that are interested, and it works for you, you could start getting commissions for signing them up. And then when they use the products, over time, you also get paid for the amount of products that they use. So you're basically, I'm paying for my products right now already.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I had a text. A child texted me.
A child.
Yes.
My child's in Philly right now.
Oh, I'd like to go to Philly. Except I'd go to Philly and eat. There we go.
So anyway, that's the way that works. You know, it works for me, and it's worked for people I've helped join up.
Well, it's okay. Let me get your. That's what I was trying to do before a child interrupted me. It was a shiny gadget. Okay, let's go. Stan. I am going to put your Facebook page link up in the chat room.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to
learn about it,
to connect with you, to learn about it, they can do that. Because I know you've spoke to me about it a few times, and like I said, once things sort of, calm down here and I do finish doing a few tests and checks and whatnot, then we definitely will talk. But because it's something that I need to,
They have just one thing. Let me say, if I can, they have something for everyone. They have products for energy. They have products for like athletes.
Mm-hmm.
They have products for like if you just want to get lean muscle. They have products for weight loss. Even skin products. Like some of the girls I know have tried some of their lotions and things like that. I haven't tried that, but there's something there for everyone, and it's all been tested. It's all good stuff, and they don't advertise. It's all word of mouth. It's all friend to friend. It's all relative to relative. So that's the way it works.
Scott in the chat room. I'm not sure if you want this read out loud, but I'm going to do it anyway. But then if you accept, we have the predetermined amount of life, of seconds, minutes, etc. on this world. Then doing all the fitness nonsense uses them up quicker. That's why the tortoise takes 130 and mosquitoes get 1 day.
All right,
Gets a little to be 130.
Well, it all depends. There's a thing called telomeres. I don't know if you guys ever heard about telomeres. And every time your cells recycle, you're born with so many of these cells, and they hold the tips of them are called telomeres. Mm-hmm. And every time your cells in your body recycle, which they do constantly almost, the telomeres get shorter and shorter. And the telomeres are actually the thing that cause aging. They have done tests. Why do lobsters, for instance, lobsters don't seem to age? Lobsters grow very, very old. Some birds grow very, very old. The turtles and the tortoises and stuff, they grow very, very old. So what is the difference in what they're doing and what we're doing? Of course, their systems are different, things like that. But a lot of these products are involved. They give you, like the vitamins and things like that, are to keep your telomeres healthy. And that's just one thing why you age. I do agree that we all are here a certain amount of time, but what you want to do is try and keep yourself in the best shape that you can while you're here. This doesn't prevent you from maybe getting a illness or anything, although if you lose weight, your chances of a heart attack are less, for example. But we're here, and why not make your quality while you're here a little bit better for as long as you can? That's my thinking. I don't want to be stuck in somewhere where I shouldn't be, having someone take care of me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. Eric, Mr. Funny Man in the chat room says, I am a shape, I am round. Round is a shape.
I got to talk to you, Eric. I got to get you. Now, where is Eric from?
Eric's is in the UK, just the same as Scott is as well.
Guess what? We're opening over there, and I could use a a friend over there to join my team so I can get Eric signed up and he could start selling this. Not really selling, signing up his friends and getting them all healthy too. So
Eric, get healthy. I think that's a bad word for Eric.
No. Everybody can get a little healthier. But it does work. And for example, my friend, I have another little restaurant I used to go for breakfast to. At least I used to. I still go there once in a while. And my friend owns it. And in fact, I just posted on my Facebook page one of his breakfasts that he made for me. It was a veggie omelet with sweet potato home fries. So I'll go in and I'll ask for different things like that. And they make them up for me. And the people in the restaurant say, where did you get them orange home fries from? Because they're orange, they're sweet potato.
Sweet potatoes.
And they're much more healthier for you than the regular potatoes. And he'll make them. So anyway, he saw what I was doing. So I got him started and he's lost about 20 pounds already. So he's doing very well. So it works. And he has a restaurant right there.
Yeah, well, it's so long. Each person's, and as we know, each person is different. Each person can choose to follow this lifestyle change. Because yes, a diet is something that is for a short period of time.
Right.
Because you can't change your diet. You can change your diet, but not go on a diet.
Right.
But by changing your diet, it's a lifestyle change.
Right.
And no, I do not eat all the donuts in the donut place. I actually haven't had any since they removed my gallbladder.
Oh, really? Yeah. See, well, I have my gallbladder taken out too, and I eat everything. I can eat everything without it bothering me. I'm lucky. So.
Well, I haven't eaten it, and I haven't eaten all the chocolate in my video. What I was trying to do was sell the Easter chocolate so it would get out of my sight, so I wouldn't be tempted to eat all the chocolate.
We have whenever you post the things. I don't know if you're still at Tim Hortons or not, but
yeah, it's in this.
It's just expanded and has the chocolate and everything now. But there's a little bakery about 4 or 5 blocks from my house, and I used to go in there almost every week, and it's homemade donuts and things, and their stuff is just yummy, yummy, yummy. They sell out of all their products that they bake overnight by the end of the day. Almost every day they sell completely out. Can you imagine having a business like that? I mean, you've got to stand in line to wait to buy your donuts or cakes or whatever you're buying. And I used to go there like once a week and get some things and all that. And I haven't been in there for a long time. And then it was about 2-3 weeks ago. What was it? Oh, it was when Lent started, that Fat Tuesday or whatever.
Okay.
I went in and I said, I'm going to get my son a couple donuts there, and maybe I'll have one because I can eat whatever I want. Basically, they don't tell you not to eat things. So I was just going to go and get a couple. And I went, and there was a line all the way out to the door, and I turned around, went back to the car. I didn't get anything. So I wasn't going to stand in line. But their stuff is delicious.
Hold on. I have to unmute myself. I muted myself because I was nibbling on a pretzel. So you want to hear me crazy?
Oh, that helps. Okay.
I know, eh? Hey, it stays down. What the hell? Scott has a question. Does Stan relate to the actual flora and fauna, hug trees, etc., or does he get drawn to the elementals, fairies, dryads, and leprechauns, etc.?
Well, I love the trees. The trees talk to me. Water especially talks to me. If I'm by a running stream, I just stand by it and listen. The stream talks to you. The trees, if you sit by a big old tree and you feel its roots underneath you, and you can really ground yourself. And I do a lot of meditating by sitting on a rock or sitting under a tree. And some of my special spots are out in the woods, just sitting in a certain spot under a big old tree. And it's amazing what you feel. I don't go around hugging every tree, although I should maybe. But I have certain ones that I like, and I enjoy them, and I always go find these certain trees, and they're just great. It's great to touch earth. There's a little meditation we do, actually, the kiwi bird in New Zealand. Kiwi bird. He doesn't fly. So I always tell people, if I get a kiwi bird for you, you got to do a walking meditation. You're just going to walk around like the kiwi bird does and feel Mother Earth under your feet, and tell me what you feel. Tell me what you sense, and you got to open up all your senses, because you could hear, you could smell the trees and touch them, and whatever you do, open up all your senses.
Yeah, it's true. And what was the tree that you said you were drawn to? Is it a specific, I'm not gonna say breed of tree, but you know what I mean? Like, is it pine,
No,
or is it
just
whatever?
certain ones. I do like hemlocks because they're usually near the water and they're pretty big. Hemlock trees like to be near moisture, so I know some streams that I go sit by, and there's big old hemlocks there. Sometimes a big old oak tree, and I'll sit under that tree, and you could really feel the roots, and you feel the motion of the tree when the wind is blowing. There's a lot to it. Just calm yourself and feel, touch it. You don't have to go around hugging it. You can if you want to, but sit on the earth underneath it.
Yeah, because you're connecting again. You're connecting to Mother Earth, and everything else goes along. But the reason I asked was because, for some unknown reason, I'm drawn to weeping willows.
Okay.
I've never had any dealings with one, but when I drive by one, I'm always drawn to look at it. It's like I have no choice. So one day I'm gonna get out of the car and go sit with the weeping willow and have little conversations.
Right, that's what you got to do.
Because it's not something that's here. I know my husband is from the States, and he said weeping willows for most of the African American community are not a good sign, because that's where people used to get hung from. So they would see that as, and that's what he learned as he was growing up, and that's why they don't, I think, because the movies only show you, these big strong tall trees, but in real life they don't always, But it's funny how I'm drawn to a weeping willow, and I don't know what it is about it. It's just.
What does it mean to you? What does weeping willow mean to you?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I like I said, every time there are a few between here and other places that I go. There are a few. Yes, I will Google it, Mr. Stevenson. I will Google it. That's all you do. Google it.
Well, that's one thing. I tell people what certain animals, like if I actually see animals and see things around people, like their karma or whatever, I could see motion around them, and I pick out certain animals, and I tell them. They ask me, "Well, what does it mean?" And I tell them what it means to me.
Yeah.
But it can mean something completely different to you.
Yep.
So, weeping willow to me means like I always think, well, weeping is like sorrow or bending over and touching the ground, things like that. That the branches want to touch the ground. They want to almost reverse the way they're growing to change. But it could mean something completely different to you. That's what I try and tell people.
No, it does resonate. It does kind of make sense, because the weeping willow, it just goes back down, and it's like, so yeah, makes sense. Okay, we had a couple of people in the chat room. Where did I put the book? There, here. Who would like a card or something, reading that you have? But you have me curious before we go there. When you said sometimes you feel or see energies around people, you feel the animals. Do you see anything around moi?
Well, it's kind of tough. You're way there in that little picture. But there's cats around you. I don't know if you have cats in your house, and they're telling me that you are independent to a point, that you don't like to depend on people so much. things like that. But it's not a big cat. I know you mentioned a jaguar earlier, but this is more like a domestic cat. And domestic cats are much more easier to take care of than dogs. Dogs you have to be, always letting out and everything. A cat, of course, takes care of itself a little bit easier. So that's what I'm seeing around you. There's almost like a cat on your shoulder, and the tail is moving back and forth. So it's hard to tell, but he's like the tail is going back and forth, like there's a motion to him, and it's almost like that you have this energy pointing you in a different direction all the time. So I don't know. Think about that the next time you talk to your cats there.
I will. Okay, I will. Thank you.
It's much easier to see. One time, I could tell you an example of what happens to me sometimes. I was at a gallery that a friend of mine was doing, a mediumship gallery. And I was sitting, they had chairs in aisles. They had about 5 chairs on each side of the aisle, and I was sort of against the wall on one side, halfway back. And it was almost over, and a mother turned around and said, to me, she was in the second seat from the corner. She had a teenage daughter that I couldn't really see because she was facing the girl in front of me. And but the mother turns around and she says, "Do you see anything around my daughter? She's driving me crazy lately, And I looked at her from behind and I saw this big elephant, like an elephant. Now, elephant a lot of times means that don't let the little things bother you. That a bunch of little things might be bothering you because they're big and strong." And the mother's just opened up and she said, "Oh my God, she has elephants all over her room and everything else." And then the girl turned around and she had an elephant necklace on. So but that's the kind of things that happen, So she was all around elephants. That's what I saw.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. But elephants, I would understand why don't let the little things bother you, in a sense, because the story is elephants are afraid of mice because they're so tiny. So, but I don't know if it's actually true. I've never asked an elephant if it was actually afraid of a mouse.
Well, it's all about using the strength you have. They're big and strong, and don't lower yourself. Don't be afraid of little things bothering you, and don't let them bother you. But they're not going to hurt you. You know what I'm saying? Somebody might say something about you or whatever. It's a little thing. Don't worry about it. Keep moving.
Yeah, learning that one. It doesn't always work, but I'm learning that one. Okay. Before Eric has to run away because it's in the UK and he has to get up early tomorrow morning. I think it's tomorrow. Anyway, he would like, I guess, a card or a reading if you want.
Okay, I could pull. Let me pull 3 cards. Eric, I have 2 decks. Just give me a number 1 or 2, and I'll grab the deck.
2.
Okay, that's this deck here. That's the power animal deck. I'll pull 3 cards for you, Eric. I don't know if you can see them on the screen here or not. I'm not good at that kind of stuff. I'll shuffle them up a little bit, and we'll see what we get. Okay? You see me shuffling? Yay! There's the deck. This is live.
It's live.
We got the antelope to start, and antelope. I don't know if you can see him. There he is. He's an antelope.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Now, the antelope do a lot of jumping around. They're pretty active, and they're a herd animal. You do much better with a herd, for one thing, but they do a lot of jumping around. And he's saying, settle down a little bit, that you might be jumping around too much, okay? That you're trying to move and do this, do that, do this, do that. You got to settle in on one thing at a time and have a goal in mind when you're doing it, okay? That's the first card. I'll pull 2 more for Eric. What else we get? What is this? Oh, the porcupine. Oh, sorry. Porcupine. You see him? There he is, the porcupine. I know you can't see that very well. But he's all about having a defensive posture, because they have the quills and everything. And sort of like the elephant with things bothering him. Porcupine doesn't like to be bothered. And he'll spruce up his back and show them quills to anything that's inquisitive around him. So I think almost Eric might have the personality, I don't know him, but he might have the personality that is sort of like he doesn't want to be touched as much. He doesn't want to be focused on. He'd rather do his own thing. Okay. But remember that antelope in the beginning, though. When you're doing your own thing, don't try and jump around too much. Okay. Now let me pull one more. What is this guy? It's the little koala bear, and I love koala bears. Oh, I'm terrible at this. Look at him all over the place. There he is. There he is. Okay, little koala bear. And of course, he likes to climb trees, but he's also a listener. And just like I was telling you, when you're out in nature, to listen to the trees and listen to what's going on around you and sense what's going on around you. That's what the little koala bear is doing. He's up there in that tree and he's got them ears perked up and he's just listening. So just be reminded of that when next time you're talking to people. Sometimes we got to listen more and talk less. That's pretty hard for me because I talk a lot. Probably Darlene has the same problem. But anyway, sometimes we learn more by listening than by, always interrupting people and talking. Not that you do that, but just try and listen a little bit closer when people are talking to you. Okay. There we go. That's for Eric. Is that okay?
Yeah. Eric, do you have any input on that one? Do you want me to unmute you? Nope. He said thank you.
I don't know how close I was or whatever. But that's what you got for today, Eric. Now that could change tomorrow. These are just instant messages. They're not anything that stays with you normally.
Yeah. Okay. Tracy K in the chat room.
One or two. There. Is that a one?
You need a one, or that's a two.
Okay, that's the same deck. Okay.
Power animals.
All right, I'll shuffle them a little bit for Tracy. I hope I don't get the same animals. If I do, I'll put them back. We'll give you a different one. Tracy. Oh, you were asking about the fox earlier. And this, whoops, there he is. Where is he? There he is, the little red fox. Oh, I got to remember that this cam is reversed. Okay. Anyway, the little red fox is telling me that you got to be adaptable because there's a bunch of changes coming into your life. You might be changing where you live, changing jobs, changing people around you. But the fox is very adaptable. He could live in all different areas. He sort of is a student of his environment. So just remember, oh, you hate change. Okay. Well, anyway, changes are around you. That's what I'm getting for the fox. That's one thing. Just be adaptable to any changes, You can try and fight them, but fighting doesn't help. You just got to adapt to them. Okay, here's an animal I was thinking about when we were talking about the elephant. And here's the giraffe. Okay? Now, don't take this the wrong way, but giraffe is big and tall. Now, I don't know how tall you are, Tracy, but giraffe is big and tall, and he can see things far ahead. He can go out and reach that tender branch high up on the tree. But he has no use for himself when he got his head down in that high grass. If he puts his head down and tries to walk, he'll just be bumping into everything. Because no matter how tall you are, if you have your head down low and it's in the grass, you're not going to see what's in front of you. Okay, so just remember that. Try and keep your head up. All right. More for Tracy. Oh! Did you ever see the picture that I posted with the butterflies on my hand?
Yes.
There's a butterfly. Okay. This is another thing having to do with the first card, I think. It's about a new birth, a new life, new things happening to you. Change, Tracy. So there might be something very minor. It might be something major, but it's almost like a new life, a new beginning for you. So just keep that in mind. Butterflies are beautiful. They're all about new beginnings, new life, and change. Okay?
Very nice. But what you don't know is that earlier in the conversation in the chat room was that Tracy said she was about to become a grandma again. So there we go. So
I'm sorry, what did she say? I didn't quite hear you.
Tracy said, I do believe, said that she was if there's time, okay, that she's going to become a grandma again.
Oh, well, that's the new life. That's the new life. That's the butterfly. Yeah, that's great.
Oh, for the first time. Sorry. There you go, Tracy.
There you go, Tracy. Yeah, well, that's the new life, and then you got to be adaptable to this new baby. So there you go. Think of that.
A quick night to Eric because he's got to go.
Good night, Eric.
Thank you, sweetheart. Have a good night. We'll talk to you tomorrow. He's gone. Poof. Like a little poof in the sky. Well, I'm glad we got to him before that he had to leave. Like I said, Eric's over in the UK, so it's a little late. It's like obscene o'clock in the morning over there.
JJ earlier said she wanted a card.
Yes, she did. She's the next one on the list.
Great. JJ, 1 or 2?
Jennifer.
You guys, you all want that number 2 deck. Nobody wants my favorite deck. That's all right. Anyway, number 2 deck. We're going number 2 again. I'm shuffling a little bit. We'll see. Like I said, if I get the same one again, we'll change. Oh, you got the frog. That little frog there. Okay. Frog. And what is he saying? Clear out
the clutter.
Clear out the clutter. Okay. Well, he's a cleanser. Frogs are, you might think where they live and everything that, they'll be used to all kind of swampy stuff and messy stuff and all that, but they don't, they like to stay in actually pretty good places. And they don't like clutter around them. They like to have an area that's pretty neat. Like my house is full of clutter. So frogs don't like me. But
hey, I like you, and some people call me a frog. So partially frog anyway.
But anyway, that's what they're telling you. Just clear out the clutter out of your life. That there might be things bothering you, or there might be things that you no longer need. It might be physical things. It might be spiritual things. It might be people. It might be just anything. Clear it out and get rid of it. That's what the frog is telling you to do. Okay?
She says that was spot on because that's what she was doing today. She was clearing the clutter.
She was cleaning. Very good. Okay, that's good. Oh, JJ, this is you. This is like the most spiritual card in the whole deck.
There you go. Perfect. Eagle.
And he's telling me that you're filled with spirit, that spirit surrounds you, and I know she is a very spiritual lady. And he wants you to just fly a little higher. He wants you to get out there and do a little bit more, okay? Get up there and look at things with a different perspective. The eagle can see things way, way up, and he can see with the magnificent eyes of his what's going on around him. And he has that strength and that power and that dignity. He's the most spiritual animal in this whole deck. So that's you, okay?
Oh my God.
I'm not good. You wouldn't believe my house. It used to be nice. I used to have a cleaning lady, Cheryl. I don't want to get off track here. I got one more card. But I used to have a cleaning lady used to come in once in a while. And she would say, Stan, there's nothing to do here. There's nothing to do. Well, she should come back now. Because ever since I had the flooding in my house, he had flooding here. My bathroom upstairs flooded. And it ruined my whole upstairs bathroom. It ruined my pantry downstairs. It ruined my kitchen. And I had to redo the whole thing. And ever since then, I moved things. Plus, I closed my business. So I got a bunch of stuff left here from the business. So that lady, she would have a heart attack if she ever came back to my house right now. I would have enough work for her for like 1 million hours. Okay, one more card. Oh, salmon. Salmon. Going the wrong way again. Salmon. See him jumping upstream there? JJ, you're on a journey, and salmon is my journey animal. One of them. I have another one too, but This one is the journey about with obstacles, that there might be obstacles in your way, like the current that he faces. He might like boulders in the stream. There's big trees in his way. There's logs, shallow water that he can't get over, dams, dikes, anything in his way. But he still gets there. He still gets back to the spawning grounds. He still gets back to where he's got to do his thing, and he completes his journey. And even though you're going to find obstacles in your way on your journey, we all have them, but you might be having a couple right now that are really bothering you, but you're going to get through them and you're going to complete that journey. You're going to be fine. Okay? There you go. That's 3, right, for JJ?
That was 3.
That was 3.
And I wrote them down. So I will try and find them. If for those of you want, you can Google search them. Stephen Farmer's animal cards. So far, the first 2 people had the power animal deck.
You're welcome, JJ. Okay. Anybody else?
We have Cheryl. Would you like a card? Tracy, you've been done. Scott, I know Scott wants.
I know, Tracy. That was a while back, and I still can't recuperate from it. And closing my business at the same time, that's why everything accumulated here, you know? So, anyway, you're welcome.
Okay, so Cheryl said yes, please.
Cheryl, 1 or 2? Hey,
she wants 1. She wants your favorite deck.
Thank you. My favorite deck. This was the first deck I ever got.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. Because on the top of the box, you see what that is? That's a falcon. Oh, that's why I picked that deck out. Love falcons. Okay, I shuffled. Oh, we got a dog. This is for Cheryl?
Yes.
This is a domestic dog. See, he looks like a retriever or a golden or something like that. And he's telling me that you might be trying to serve too many masters. That dogs only should have like one master in their life. They should listen to other people maybe at times, but they only have one true master. And if you're trying to serve too many masters, you're not doing yourself any good. That the only one you should be trying to serve and take care of is yourself. If you're spreading yourself out too thin, trying to help this one, help that one, take care of this one, you're just ruining your health and everything else. So try to concentrate on yourself. That's what the dog is saying. The true master is yourself. Okay.
Jesus. Oh, hush, Scott.
Oh my goodness. This card's about change too. And he is the manatee. Manatee. And the manatee is very docile and everything. I see that new commercial they have with them with T-shirts on. Did you see that on TV? Anyway, but they're very docile, and they sort of let things go. Sometimes they get hurt. Sometimes a propeller will hit them in the water, and sometimes they get hurt. But they're very docile, very giving, and they let things go. They don't let things bother them. And he's telling me that sometimes you might let things bother you a little bit too much, that it might have something to do with the dog serving too many masters, but you got to live your own life and take care of yourself and sort of go with the flow a little bit. Last time they're just going around with the flow and the rivers down there and taking care of themselves. So just think of that. Think of that manatee relaxing and going with the flow the next time you run into too hectic of a situation, okay? What else we got? Oh, we got the big silverback gorilla. See him there? He's the big silverback gorilla. And we just posted something in one of my other channels about the gorilla. Actually, they eat, of course, leaves and things like that. So they eat a good diet, but they're also about family. You know, they live in the gorillas live in that family colony, and they take care of one another. and it's all a group. So family is very important to you. Take care of the family, but don't let them push you around, because that's what the dog is saying. You might be trying to take care of them too much. Listen to what they have to say, but you don't always have to agree with them, okay? Family is very important, though. Okay? All right. Thank you. Any questions on any of those?
Cheryl, if you have any questions, pop them in the chat room. Tracy would like, if it's possible, to have just draw one more card for her. She needs a little. She'll try that one again. She feels like she needs a little more, and I'm going to choose for her because I have a feeling that it's going to come from the deck that you have in your hand right now.
Number one deck? Sure.
Yes, number one
this
deck.
For Tracy again. I think I used the other deck for her earlier, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. We'll mix them up that way. We won't get the same card.
And Cheryl says that you hit it right on the head with her.
Oh, thank you, Cheryl. Not me, the animals. The animals are usually right. Okay, this is for Tracy, and this is actually our state bird here in Pennsylvania. He's the grouse. You see him?
Okay.
Grouse. And these cards are so worn that the pictures aren't that great on them anymore. But anyway, the grouse is about listening to your heart. In the springtime, which will be coming up now, I go along a stream here or something in the woods, you can hear a grouse beat. I don't know. What they do is they flap their wings really fast, and you can hear it for a long distance. And it's, of course, probably to attract a mate in the spring. But it's that beating of the drum. Listen to drum beat, listen to music, and it's getting your heart pumped, getting your heart moving. It's all about getting going, getting your heart revved up, beating that heart, feeling good about it, and getting some exercise, things like that. So charge in there. Listen to music. Listen to drum music. Drum music brings in spirit. If you're ever meditating, when I meditate lots of times, I don't listen to waves slowly crashing. I can go and do that, listen to water and stuff in the woods. When I meditate here at home, I listen to Hans Zimmer a lot. If you ever listen to Hans Zimmer's music, it's like Pirates of the Caribbean type music. If you ever listen, you'll know what it is. Batman, really outgoing music. And my guides have told me that drum music brings in spirit quicker. So when I'm meditating, I listen to that kind of music, and then I get all these messages. I get all this information without even asking for it. It just comes to me because I'm listening to the drum music. Okay.
Okay. Now we're going to go to Mr. Stevenson.
Mr. Stevenson, Scott, one or two, Scott.
Woo-hoo.
One. Okay, very good.
Okay.
Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. I'm doing this quick, so I don't know how many people we got.
Tracy, did you get what I said put in there? Nat and Diane.
Okay. This is the Wolverine. I don't know if you remember that movie Wolverine with the young kids that were fighting up in the mountains there.
X-Men.
He's telling me that you're a lot tougher than what people even recognize you as, that you have an inner strength about you, that you can handle all kind of situations that are confronting you. Doesn't mean things are bad are going to confront you, but you can handle things. You know how to take control of things in your life. That you're a strong, moral and physical person. That you don't let things bother you as much. That's what the Wolverine is telling me. Okay. Oh, one of my favorites. I just posted a picture about him too. This is the mountain goat. I did take a picture of one in South Dakota and I posted it lately. The mountain goat is talking about balance to you. They have terrific balance. They jump around. I don't know if you ever saw them in person, but they just jump from rock to rock. Even the little tiny ones. You wonder how they can do it when they're so small. But they have terrific balance. And what he's telling me is that you got to balance your spiritual side with your physical side. Some people are really into the physical world. They're worried about their job. They're worried about money. They're worried about how they're feeling. They're worried about all this stuff going on around them. And they don't really care about the spiritual side of life. And then there's the other side of people that are running to church every day, which is nothing wrong with that. But anyway, they're meditating all the time. They're doing yoga. They're doing this. They're all in spiritual stuff. And they're not worried so much about the physical side of their life. Well, what you got to do really in life is have this good balance. So think of that mountain goat next time you're doing things, and try and not get overboard in either direction. Try and keep an even keel. Try and keep balanced in what you're doing, okay? 2 or 3. That's 2, right?
That was 2.
2. Okay, one more. Well, this has a lot to do. This is the wild boar. Sort of like the Wolverine. He's a toughie too. He though is talking to me almost like you have a project going on, like you have a quest, something that you're doing, and people might be trying to change your mind. People might be saying, "Don't do it." Um, he's more of standing your ground. You know how the wild boars will scruff at the ground with their hooves and sort of dig in and be tough and strong. That's what you got to be. You got to dig in and stick up for yourself, and use that Wolverine strength too. So you got 2 strong animals on each side of the mountain goat with the balance. So keep it all in perspective. They're all related. That whole story there is related. You are welcome.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is with Scott, he's also a Capricorn, and he's got the beard to go with it, so he is a mountain goat. Or as Cheryl said, and I happen to agree, he's an old goat.
Goat. Okay. Well, that mountain goat is all about balance, and if you've ever seen them in person, they really can jump around. They can go from cliff to cliff and rock to rock, and it's amazing to watch them.
Yeah, I don't hold back. I love Scott. I love him dearly, and yeah, he's an old goat, and I have his wife's permission to pick on him all I want.
So, anyone else? Did
Me.
we get her? You.
Me.
I don't know if I have
and
any cards
I would
for you.
like. I'm going to be difficult. What else is new, right?
I'm going to split them up for you. How about that?
Exactly. Yes, that's what I want.
Okay. In fact, I'll give you 4. I'll give you 2 from each deck.
Okay.
We'll do this deck first. I have in my hand. We don't want the wild boar again. You're tough enough.
I need to toughen up maybe sometime.
I must have shuffled them and I got the same cards. You got the goat again
Fine.
too. And there's the Wolverine. All 3 of them came up in order. So maybe they just wanted to get out of the way. I put them all on the side, the last 3 cards. Isn't that weird? I did shuffle them. And okay, we got the weasel. Was that you? Are you a weasel? Weasel. He's over there.
I can be. Cute and cuddly. I think it was cute. Thank you very much.
Weasel,
same color hair.
The weasel is telling me that the way they survive is they use all their senses. They smell things, they feel things, they touch things, they see things, they hear things. And he wants you to use all your senses too. You'll be much better off. Sometimes I think you probably just smell the donuts. You smell the whatever you're there, and you might taste a certain thing that you like. But he's telling you to listen, to hear things, to feel things, to touch things, to see things, and use all your senses like he does. Okay, and that's how he survives. Okay. Get one more from this deck.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, they're almost the same. The chimpanzee, even though they look different, that's my finger. There he is. There he is, little chimpanzee. These two cards almost have the same meaning, because just like the weasel using all of his senses, the chimpanzee uses all of his physical ability. You know, he can write with his toes, and he can use his tongue, and he, of course, do anything. The tail is involved when they're doing things. On some of these monkeys and chimpanzees and things like that out in the jungle, and so they use all their facilities, everything they have to get through life. And at times you don't want to get stagnant. You don't want to get stuck doing the same thing all the time. And that's what they're telling me about them cards. They're sort of just telling you to evolve a little bit more. Okay?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Any questions on those two?
Oh, no. They just perfect.
Okay. All right, now I'm going to pull two from the other deck. Same ones again from this deck. Okay, give me a number between 1 to 10, first of all.
3.
3? 1, 2, 3. That was quick. All right. We were talking about little cats around you. That's the lynx. He's the little lynx. And he's very adaptable to different situations in your life. And even on this card, he's telling you to do this. Look beyond what you can see. Okay, basically that's what this lynx is saying. He's saying, look beyond what you can see. He is very almost secluded. You barely see them. I know we have them in our area. We've got bobcats. They're the same thing, basically. And I never see them. You never see them in the woods. I don't know if you've ever seen any.
It's funny because there was a picture posted in my area of a lynx. I believe it was in my area.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, they're kind of secluded animals. They don't really show themselves too often. They're very secretive. But once again, they adapt to their different situations, their environment, and it's okay. It's okay to do things even by yourself. A lot of the cats are very secluded. They want to be off by themselves. I know I get the sometimes like a jaguar or a panther. They like to do things by themselves. Sometimes like the lions are more, in the group, the pride. But a lot of the big cats are singular, and that's okay. So he's just saying it's okay to do things your own way. Don't worry about following the crowd all the time. Do things your own way. Okay? We know that.
I really do follow the crowd.
And then, of course, you got one of my relatives. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's a hawk.
Okay.
Covering his name, but it's the hawk.
That's okay.
And the hawk is about seeing your goals and your vision in life. That all of us should have goals that we have in mind. All of us should have a vision of where we want to go. And what you got to do is focus. There's no sense having a goal and say, just like me with the weight. There's no sense having a goal if you don't focus on completing that journey and taking care of that. There's no sense saying you're going to go to Disney World on a vacation if you don't even make plans or don't even check in going there. You got to focus on what you want to do, your job, your lifestyle, whatever you're doing. So just remember, focus is the main thing. And once you see what you want, once you have the ability to see what you want, don't hesitate. If a hawk is fast, a falcon is fast. When they see something on the ground or in the air even that they want, they just swoop right down and try and grab it, okay? Hesitation is lost with nature. So don't hesitate. If you see something you want to do, if you see something you like, if you have an idea in your head, go with it. Jump on it, okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Nope, I'm good. You again have amazed me. I think you did this for me once before, and knocks me on my fanny, as it were. Yeah, thank you very much, Dan. Jennifer saying thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, hon.
Because what I like about my show is that people can come on here and if you want, you can do readings. If you don't want, you don't have to do readings. But it's whatever. Yeah, it's whatever is feels comfortable. And yeah, you do have your cards every morning. Wish they were a little earlier so I could share them when I hang up. But
Well, I post them around. The first one I usually post around 7:30. Because I usually get up around 7 and I take care of the dogs and I have my shake. And then I come upstairs and I usually flip through the pages of a book or grab one of these decks or something. Sometimes people give me suggestions. If I see somebody in chat the day before that I'm talking to or something, I'll say, give me an animal for tomorrow because, and look for it. I was posting tags with people on there, and I would just pick people from random from my Facebook lists and figure if I picked them from random, that message would be for them. But I guess Facebook didn't like that too much, so I don't tag people too much anymore. But if you
they go on my personal page and they go on my angel card page or Angel Butterfly Network page. So they do get shared, and Cheryl loves your cards, loves the meetings. You always have something. You say that it's what when you give the description of the card, okay, it's what resonates with you giving a description. But it is in so many ways, so many times I've had people go, holy
it's just for them, right?
Yeah, because you hit that nail on the head, with somebody. And this is what I like. This is what I think that so many times people want to, it's like, no, it's all about me, but everybody's all about me. So that sometimes when a card is drawn or, hits a nerve with people, or a card is drawn or a reading is given, that sometimes it resonates with other people and it's supposed to resonate.
Right.
So,
well, even lots of times I don't use the decks. In fact, I haven't used the decks in a couple of weeks, actually, my cards. I have some books with animals in, and I'll just flip through the book and I'll end up with a page and I'll get that animal and then I'll talk about that animal. Or when I go downstairs with the dog in the morning, I'll see something outside, like geese were flying over the other day, so I posted something about the goose, or I'll hear something, or a robin. There was a robin there in the yard the other day. I did post a robin.
Yes.
And so, if I see something outside, even in that 5-10 minutes when I go out, I'll say, oh, there's the message, and I don't have to go looking through the books. I don't have to pull a deck out. And I'll just say something what's in my head about that animal or whatever. Sometimes I'll see things on TV. I'll turn on the news while I'm still in bed, flip on the Weather Channel or the news or something, and there'll be a story there about an animal or something. And that's my message for today. So they come from all over. That's what I'm trying to say. And I do get suggestions. People will say, give me that, and I try and get to them.
So if somebody gives you a suggestion, do you go with what fits with you? You don't do, because I noticed you're not reading your cards, you're not reading the book. Okay. You've worked with them for so long, you've worked with animal for so long that it's just there. So if somebody says to you, because you're saying that sometimes you get suggestions, and the animal that pops into my head is polar bear.
Okay. Well, polar bear, I talked to somebody about polar bear the other day. First of all, he's always looking at the North Star. They're always looking at the stars. That's what they mean to me. And of course, I see the whiteness, the vastness of their territory, and they're big, they're tall, they like to stand up for themselves. You ever see the pictures of them when they stand up? All the big bears stand up, and that's what I get from polar bear. But I always think of travel, and it's far off travel. It might all be like almost astral travel when I think of the polar bear. You know how in meditation, sometimes you'll do the astral travel. So I'll get that from a polar bear if somebody mentions a polar bear, or if it comes out in one of the books. Sometimes I do post a little bit of something I read in a book or what's on the cards sometimes, but I'll usually change it around to my own thinking. But sometimes I just get an animal and just write something. The trouble is, you know how you write in them little blocks on Facebook now? They come up with the little blocks. You're limited on words there. The block will go away. You know those colored blocks with the arrows and ice skaters. You're limited on words. So I'll start writing something, and I'll have this whole thing in my head to write. And next thing I know, the block goes away. You know, if you write too many letters, the block will go away. So then I have to condense it. So when I condense it, I usually write a little statement in the first comment on the bottom that corresponds with what I posted on top. So always be sure to see my statement underneath too. Yeah, because it continues with the message.
Cool. I will look at that. I noticed it quickly once the other day, but I didn't because I don't generally read because I haven't been able to read the chance of the comments because sometimes comments can get pretty deep. Yes, I do read, Scott. Okay, I knew that you were going to go there. But,
well, for me, that first comment that I post is usually a continuation of that message that I just couldn't fit in that little block. And I like to use the blocks. I think they're more attractive than just typing something. You know what I'm saying?
And I like that we can share it. When it shares, you can share it with the color block to it. So it's cool too.
Yeah, they're nice. And they do change them every once in a while. But they're limited on your how many letters in the alphabet. You could.
Yeah, exactly. How many spaces? Yeah. Okay. Does anybody else have any questions in the chat room? Please pipe up now. Do you have anything coming up?
Well, I do have some plans locally here. I've got.
So locally is where?
In Pennsylvania, Northeast Pennsylvania. We're going to have. Most of them have to do with the health part of it. We're going to do a holistic fair that I go to every year, and usually I do readings there, the animal readings, the meditations, things like that. And I have a booth set up there. Well, this year I'm doing the health products, and we're also doing a presentation to, like in the back room where you can go like once an hour. Somebody's talking about whatever subject they're talking about back there, and we're going to do a presentation there. That's on April 15th, I think. I'm going to Philadelphia for a weekend conference with the company. It's like a training conference down in Philadelphia in April. I'm also planning to do nature hikes that I'm going to post as events on Facebook for local people. And in state parks, I have quite a few state parks. I take pictures of them every once in a while, or county parks around me. And what I plan on doing is maybe once a month, just inviting whoever wants to come and sort of do a walk, an easy walk, because I walk sometimes 4 or 5 miles a day. So just an easy walk for an hour or so, taking it easy, whoever wants to go. And we'll go out in the woods for a while and see what we see. If we see a squirrel, we'll talk about the squirrel. If we see a bumblebee, we'll talk about the bumblebee. And just get out there, like you say, hug a couple trees, see the river. The river talks to me down there when I go by the river. I plan on doing them like once a month. That's about it. Oh, Nashville in the summer, there's a big convention, so I'm going to Nashville in the summer.
Hoo-ha!
Oh, and then I go to Lilydale every year, a couple times.
You're going for the music in Nashville.
Yeah, well, Nashville is going to be our big celebration. It's sort of a fun thing, but it's a conference. That's in August.
I have a friend who just moved down to Nashville.
Yeah. My son goes. I've never been there, actually. I've never been to Nashville. My son goes every once in a while. Then I go to Lilydale in the summer. I have a bunch of friends that do workshops in Lilydale, and I usually make 2 or 3 trips up there during the summer.
Okay.
Scott, what's going on?
Yeah. Scott in the chat room says, does Stan know that he has a very large male giraffe behind him?
Really? Well, that's good. As long as his head isn't down in the grass, Scott. Thank you for saying that. That's great. That's one thing I like to tell people. What do you see around me? Because they always say, "What do I see around you?" I say, "What do you see around me?" So I've got a bunch of people now seeing animals around other people. So that's kind of fun,
Yeah.
sort of
Well,
following in my footsteps.
well, Scott,
Wait a minute. There's a
Scott
bear
is,
back there. There's a fish on the wall. I actually have
mm,
a bear and a fish back. Do you see the fish? You can see the fish.
yeah, I see the fish over there. As long as it doesn't sing, we're okay.
I've never been to Nashville, JJ, and I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be a fun trip. What we're doing, instead of staying in one of the hotels, we're actually renting a big house down there. It's going to be like 15 of us in a house. 4 or 5 days. We're renting a house. That's going to be fun.
Well, if there's nothing else, we're going to cut it short for tonight because, as I said, I had a child who texted me before. They always manage to do that. And so I got to go off and make some early dinner because he's down visiting. But it was fun having you. I am so glad that you said yes finally.
Oh, I'm so glad you invited me. And, we talk quite often, actually, and it's so nice to get together and have the show. And I appreciate everybody coming in. And if anybody is interested in the health stuff, just find me on Facebook and I'll send you some information. There's, of course,
No, I believe, hold on, it should be the same link I posted. There you go. I posted the link to your Facebook page again so that you can go there and meet, check in with Stan. Send him a friend request. If he deletes you, just let me know and I'll smack him for you. I'm violent woman today. I'm smacking people.
And you know what we're up against today? We're up against the Academy Awards. So,
hello, I can beat them out anytime. Hello,
I know. Just think how popular all these fine people came here. They'd rather be with us than the Academy Awards. Isn't that something? Unless they didn't start yet.
I have no idea.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate it. And Walking Dead is on at 9 too. So.
Okay, well, we'll make sure you get to that one. But thank you very much for being here. My next week's show is going to be a very interesting guest. Everybody knows her very well. I do know her very well. It will be Jennifer's Journey. She's my guest next week. So everybody come back and see JJ. She's a very interesting lady. So, y'all, everybody, thank you, Stan, for being here. Everybody in my chat, Cheryl, Jennifer, Scott, Brian, I'm going to be sending you love and healing, my sweet. Eric, same as there. And anybody, we had a little guest pop in and pop out. Even you will get a little bit of love and hugs from Mama D. And I will see you again very, very soon. Thank you, Stan. Night, everybody.